internet of value at Ripple, we're thinking much bigger than just cross-border payments. It's kind of like Amazon with rare books in the early days, just this market happens to be a $10 trillion market.
We are at a historic turning point.
Said in the past that you are doing for money what email did for communication.
Moving the whole revolution forward.
Take on it.
There's trillions of dollars parked around the world.
XRP.
Is there a possibility that Ripple could take over Swift one day?
Well,
welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of 24 Hours of Crypto. Let's get right into today's episode. Within 8 days, we are going to see a major announcement coming out from Ripple. As many of you guys know, Ripple Swell is approaching. And we have an individual that was added to the list of speakers named Patrick Witt. This is truly remarkable because Patrick Witt is the executive director of the President's Council of Advisors for Digital Assets at the White House. And in his role, he leads efforts to develop and coordinate national policy on digital asset innovation, regulation, and emerging financial technologies. And if you guys know, Ripple has been trying to work with governments around the world since the inception of its technology because they brought a solution to a $1 trillion problem in the financial ecosystem. And they said the only way we make this work is we have to get all the custodians on board. We have to educate every single individual. And once everybody's on a level playing field, that's when we can go ahead and unleash XRP. And if some of you guys laugh at that, saying it's conspiracy, that is fine. Because time is going to do all the talking for us. And when XRP goes to $100, guess what? You're just going to be watching from the sidelines.
That's FinCEN's charge at the Treasury Department. How do our old rules, really, without even getting into specifics of which ones, but how do the old rules, how do our existing rules that were designed for closed systems that are well-intentioned to protect consumers, how do we take the intent of those rules? How do we get there using these new technologies?
Thank you. Brian, when you talked a little bit earlier, and I wonder if you could repeat for this bigger audience, how is this like or unlike where we were when the internet was in its infancy?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm Ryan Zagon with Ripple.
Right. And say your name so everybody can hear.
Ryan Zagon with Ripple. There's a recognition here that there's many benefits to the technology. But unlike almost every other sector, the regulatory framework must be in place for innovation to take root in financial services. And there is a broad recognition that that is needed. Now, we've faced the same issue about an uncertain technology and an uncertain time before. This isn't the first time we've had to ask this question. And it was with the creation of the internet. We recognized it as initial use cases were negative to illegal, but it had much potential for benefits. And those are the benefits we've realized today. Now, we addressed the internet in a very proactive way. And it was led by the White House at the time, developing a framework for e-commerce that had several characteristics. And it was consistency globally, that it was predictable and clear, that it included consumer protections, and it included security. Like that was a framework that was adopted by the UN and in Europe. So it was almost global in perspective. That was a way to look at an emerging technology, and we can create a framework for positive innovation to occur while allowing space to step in when negative things did happen. We proposed at Ripple taking that same framework developed by President Clinton, the framework on electronic commerce, and just replacing electronic commerce with blockchain. Like that is the same situation we're in today. And despite it being a very challenging position to put regulators in, we've faced this challenge before and we've responded very effectively.
And in today's episode, I'm going to give you true numbers, remarkable numbers to say the least, that everybody's getting distracted by Bitcoin. If you're getting into this ecosystem right now, do not buy Bitcoin, okay? As many of you know, I own Bitcoin, but I got in at a very, very low price. Individuals getting in now with $10,000, $20,000, $40,000, $50,000 should not be buying Bitcoin. The only individuals that want to buy Bitcoin, you need a couple hundred of thousands of dollars. For example, if you come in here with $400,000, sure, put $100,000 into Bitcoin to hedge against your other digital assets. But the math that I'm going to break down to you is truly eye-opening, and the individuals that miss this are, like I said, gonna be sidelined. And within the next coming 8 days, we are gonna see a price explosion for XRP, in my opinion. This is the 4-hour chart for XRP right now. I have a couple of trades open, and right now it is looking like it is coiling up for a move. If we take a look at the daily charts, XRP is flirting with this level of 269, 270. All I could say is when we see this move, it is going to blast through 280, 282, 285. Okay, I want you guys to clip this because it is going to be a very, very aggressive move past this 269 mark because it keeps getting rejected at these levels. But when it does go up, it is going to come with a lot of power, and then we're going to test all-time highs before the end of this year. That is 100% certain. And that is why I have my trades open right now on XRP. We have a USDT trade open, and we also have a USDC trade open perpetual for XRP. Now, we got the dip when it was at $1.89. And take advantage of the deposit bonuses for 2bit and Bitunix. The links are in the description down below. If you deposit at $4,000, you do get an $800 deposit bonus that you could be utilizing as your capital, and along with Bitunix. I have trades open on both of them. If you deposit $2,000 on Bitunix, you get a $400 deposit bonus. You do not need to utilize your capital upfront whatsoever. But take a look at these numbers that we are going to go over. As many of you know, that the rich list is significantly small for XRP holders. It is very, very small. There is less than, I repeat, less than 500,000 people on this planet that own anywhere between 5,000 to 5 million XRP, okay? And many of you that have been accumulating for a very long time since the inception of this channel are sitting above minimum 10,000 XRP. But I'm going to say majority are over 20,000 XRP. And I apologize, I am very sick right now, so I have a really runny nose. But right now, everybody's going to miss out on this. I can't stress this enough. Think about that. There are billions of people on this planet, and there's less than 500,000 people that own anywhere between 5,000 to 5 million XRP. We don't even need to do the math like that. We could even go to a million. Okay, I mean, even if you have a million XRP, I know many people that have anywhere between the 500. I know at least 10 people in this range that own between 500,000 to a million XRP. So, we could do minus that. And these numbers I'm about to present to you, check this out. If you were to put, okay, and this is how it should be presented. It really frustrates me because every single advisor out there, at Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, RBC, all these Canadian banks, all these US banks should be advising their customers about this, but they're not. And that's the biggest red flag ever. And it really, really bothers me because, and I want you to share this video with everybody. Okay, remember, when you invest, you don't invest to get rich overnight. When I did private banking, our customers had millions of dollars at these firms for years. And you come in there and you talk about what is your investment objective, what is your time horizon, and what is your risk tolerance. Okay, those are some of the things that you go over when you are setting up a portfolio at these financial institutions. So the best takeaway for this circumstance is I'm going to play a 5-year outlook. And a 5-year outlook for XRP, as you guys know, listen, it's going to happen way before 5 years. But this is the way you should be looking at this because there's no rush to this, okay? If you were to put, for example, and then this is an example of why nobody should be buying Bitcoin whatsoever. And I'm being very nice here with these numbers that I'm going to go over. If you were to put $10,000 into XRP at the current value of $2.63, when XRP goes to $100, that $10,000 is going to return you $380,000. As opposed to putting that $10,000 into Bitcoin at the current price, when Bitcoin goes to $1 million, you have $88,000. When Bitcoin goes to $2 million, you have $177,000. And look at the difference. Look at the difference just at that, right? And this is going to happen way before 5 years. $100 XRP is going to happen way before 5 years. My call is before 2030. And it's something that like you guys know, it can't be stopped. Mathematically speaking, it cannot be stopped, and those levels are going to be reached.
The thing with these assets, though, is they always follow a hockey stick curve, right?
Exactly.
So 5 trillion right now seems like a lot, but if you look at how liquidity begets liquidity and the growth that we're seeing in stable coins right now, once that there's a regulatory framework, I think the U.S. Treasury says 2030 or something, and then a couple $1 trillion. I mean, I think it can happen sooner if Treasury decides to start putting treasuries on chain themselves, or if a couple of large FMIs decides to do whatever. These numbers are actually more achievable than one would think, as long as a specific asset class actually starts moving on chain wholesale and you get true hockey stick adoption.
And when people come into this ecosystem, you guys all know they're lost. They don't know what to put their money in. They might divide up their 10,000 into 5,000, 5,000. It's done. It is truly done. And as much as it sounds like I'm being rude, I'm not being rude. It's reality. The time to become extremely, extremely wealthy with crypto is done for your average person. Unless they get lucky with some of these other coins that are, floating around. But you have to understand the 3-year outlook, the 5-year outlook, the 10-year outlook for these digital assets. Are they going to be around for the next coming decades ahead of us? And what problem do they solve? So it is very important to understand that the individuals that got in accumulated, you're not average anymore in terms of your net worth. You're not your average investor or your average individual. You are completely a different breed. And like I said, I'm not doing this to stroke your ego. It's reality. There is less than 500,000 people on this planet that own anywhere between the 5,000 to a million XRP mark. Okay, that is a very, very small number. And everybody is getting distracted by Bitcoin right now. I don't even know why, keep on stacking your sats. Keep on stacking your sats. And I just want to sack the individuals that actually say that, because it's so misleading, and it's really, really sad because there's some people that listen to it. So the biggest takeaway from today's episode is, of course, within 8 days, we are going to see and hear an announcement come out of Ripple. We are going to see, in my opinion, a move for XRP that is going to break us out from the $2.65 level right now. So let's take a look. It is currently trying again, $2.63. In my opinion, we are going to see a candle that is going to bring us to the 284, a nice girthy green candle. And then we're going to go above 3, and then we are going to again try to test and hit price discovery and go for all-time highs. The next coming 2 months is completely going to price out your average individuals. And the individuals that say it's not going to price anybody out, it's still cheap at $2.62, you are just brain dead, and there is no reason for me to explain to you why or what price out means. It's logic. It's honestly so logical in terms of mass accumulation, right? Brand new investor comes into crypto, sees XRP at $5, and they only have $10,000. It's either they put $10,000 and hold it for years ahead, but the longer you take to get into this ecosystem, the longer it'll take you to make any kind of returns that you want, that you're looking for. That's just reality. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Such a small amount of us. Like I said, I always even go based off of my YouTube views. Go check out my YouTube views, right? The consistent YouTube views, the consistent students, if we want to call it, the learners, the achievers, the go-getters that come every day, try to understand what's happening and following these, putting in trades, getting ready for the next move. Take your profits if you are putting in these trades, okay? Take your profits when you're putting in these trades. It is very important to not wait it out, take the initial out, and let the rest ride. But these are generational bottoms that we are never going to see again once this explosion comes. And everybody is anticipating for that. And we caught a perfect example. If you guys have been following this channel for a very long time, we caught that generational bottom for BNB. Okay, it is up $4,300 currently, but we also took $7,400 profit off this trade. And this trade is only $192 margin now, but I'm not going to be touching this trade for a very long time, at least for another year. Okay, because for BNB to go back to 690, even when everything got liquidated, this trade was in profit over 1,000% because we caught that generational bottoms and it withheld that massive dump. It's the same thing's going to happen with XRP and all these different digital assets right now. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I do appreciate every single one of you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Very small percentage of us out there. I want you guys to understand that. And I want you guys to remember what I said in yesterday's episode. If you're working every single day, just do it with pride. You have an objective. You know you're not going to be working at that job. Some of you guys in the next 1 year, some of you guys in the next 2 years, some of you guys in the next 3 years. It's a countdown to lottery. As much as it sounds crazy, it's not. Okay, it's not whatsoever. I'm telling you from experience, and I'm telling you a real outlook and a perspective that is going to be achieved by you. So with that being said, I do appreciate every single one of you guys once again. And I cannot wait to meet every single one of you guys one day. It is going to be so fun. We're going to laugh so much. I hope none of you guys die of laughing. But it's going to be so awesome. It is going to be so awesome. Oh, it is going to be so awesome. I know I might sound a little bit crazy right now. But you guys just truly, some of you guys understand, but the ones that don't, please.
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
Please listen. We knew, and I'm going to play some videos in a moment of like OG clips from Ryan Zagone and Greg Kitt, talking about regulation for Ripple coming, bringing the industry together. But like, I don't know how to explain this. The world's a scary place once you find out the truth behind it. And remember we talked about the batches yesterday. It's very, you guys see those individuals at your work. The individuals that are so into the matrix, as much as I don't like using that word matrix, it's reality. The individuals that are just so sucked into the system about taxes, about just like they go to work, they've been working there for like 30 years, they love it, they just do their 9 to 5, they've been there forever. I've worked with people like that, so I'm telling you. They clock in, clock out, and they don't do anything extra. They go home, they kick back, they watch, TV, but they don't improve themselves. They're comfortable where they are. But some people are just, they like it like that. You can't really force somebody to do something if they don't like it. But I'm telling you, every one of us in here, any dream that you have, you're going to achieve it. The only thing that you should be doing right now, accumulate as much as you can before it's too late. Okay? And listen, I'm saying this now, and I've been saying this since XRP was literally worthless, and all of us are up. Trust me, if you're just getting it now, if you got it at $1 or $1.50, just patience. Patience. It is so important. This is not a get rich quick overnight. Remember, I did private banking, and when I say that, it's because I've seen real portfolios, millions of dollars of portfolios in stocks. Right, one of our advisors, we managed $200 million, and the other one was just under, what was it? It was 120. It was 120, $120 million. So a variety of different portfolios, a variety of different households that I've seen, and they've been at those firms for years. And I used to pull return on investment, your ROI reports, and I used to look at all of them, and I used to say, I'm like, God damn, and this is when I was heavy and deep in crypto, right? Like 2017, 2018. I used to see all these numbers, and I say, wow, this is actually how do people do this? And they give us this much money for fees. The amount of fees that these banks take is truly remarkable. So if I were you guys, if you guys have, money sitting in your bank account in investments, ask your advisors for ROI report, okay? And see how your portfolio has done for the past 10 years. You could get it. They could pull those reports and take a look at the return on investment that you have and how your portfolio has been performing. But at the end of the day, you should not be owning anything in the bank. Anything. As much as it sounds crazy, you gotta trust this. You gotta trust the crazy people. right? This is a new asset class that is sitting at ground zero. Okay, I cannot stress that enough. Crypto is sitting at ground zero. We're at $4 trillion. It's going to go to $100 trillion, 100%. 100%. The stock market went to $100 trillion based off of printed fiat money. Okay, printed fiat money. You want to go down a rabbit hole? Many of you guys understand, but just try to think about it. When you think about fiat money, they told you it has value, but it's paper. There is no value. They just print more of it. Like, just think about that. And it's just crazy. And I just got snot in my mouth. I'm being transparent here. So I'm gonna get this out. I gotta blow my nose. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I do appreciate every single one of you guys, and we'll be back with another episode.
Appreciate the opportunity to meet with you today. I commend your leadership in investigating virtual currencies and other emerging technologies. I'm pleased to offer an overview of Ripple and address any questions you may have. Ripple Labs is based in San Francisco and employs a team of 95 men and women with experience in government and regulation, finance and technology. Their previous experience includes Federal Reserve, U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, the NSA, Goldman Sachs, Deloitte, Apple, and Google. Our goal is to create faster, safer, and more efficient payment systems domestically and across international borders. In my view, a large portion of today's inefficiencies in payments stem from antiquated infrastructure. In many countries, the technology underpinning payments was last updated in the 1970s and was not designed with interoperability in mind. Because systems are not compatible, banks have to rely on a patchwork of intermediaries to move funds.
But I think the idea of buying and holding forever and not trying to make adjustments requires that you've gotten it right in the first place. That you can only hold tight if you've bought right, if you will. And that is to say, have an asset allocation that has something to do with how many years you have to accumulate money, how much resources you have at stake, how much income you need, and how much courage you have to ride out the peregrinations of the market.
The thing with these assets, though, is they always follow a hockey stick curve. As long as a specific asset class actually starts moving on-chain wholesale and you get true hockey stick adoption.
It is my firm belief that everything can be tokenized. So.
Well, I woke up this morning, check my bags on the chain. XRPL still humming while the FUD folks complain. Ripple fighting Goliath, yeah, the SSA's game. But Johnny D and Hogan, they're bringing the flame. So we salute to the rebels in suits, to the coders and hodlers wearing dusty old boots. Raise a toast to the ledger and the lawyers who bite, while taco stand dumps through the middle of the night. Damn, Jed, can you chill? Brad G's on the mic saying clarity now, while Shorts codes the stars with the hologram cow watch. The haters keep chirping, but the people ain't blind. This ain't some mean dream, it's the internet's spine. Regulators stalling, but the clock's ticking fast. Ripple drops the case like a baseline blast. Communities united from Twitter to the street. We meme through the madness and never admit defeat. Yeah, we salute to the devs and the geeks, to the ledger that clears in seconds, not weeks. To D, to Hogan, to legal delight, and the salty old taco that just loves to spite. Hey Jed, you done yet? Or you got another dump scheduled for lunch? So here's to the warriors, the freaks, and the fans, waving salute tokens like battle flags in hand. It ain't just about coins, it's a movement, a pact. We defend what we build, and we're taking it back. Come on, salute to the ones in the fight, to the token that laughs in regulatory spite, to Schwartz, Brad, and the one still